All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. We had a much calmer day in the markets in terms of news and data, but there was big news out of the Russia-Ukraine front, and now it is leading to a potential play. So I have a wheat play for you. I want to talk about it. I think it is very important. It is not going to be a big one, but I think in the short term, we will be getting a lot of volatility from it. But that was one big thing that happened today. But besides any of that, what you saw in the markets today was very important because there was nothing. I'm telling you, the day was very calm, very minimal data. We got a couple of clues out of Australia, but for the most part, there was nothing out of the United States, and the markets traded relatively chill. Now, we are still at this higher level, higher point. Again, you're within like what, 10 points now, 17 points from 4,300. This is still the level we are looking for. Tomorrow will be the middle of the week, but now we're going to see where we're at on Friday and whether or not we break it. But how does the market react with no data? And what are we really reacting to? So there's a lot in store. We have a lot to talk about. I got a nice breakdown. I think you're going to want to listen to the wheat play, and then I hope you're ready for the rest of the week. So, Chad, you know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and then youtube.com/the stock market. It's right here. You see it? You can see it. You scroll it. Beautiful. Every day. Free 99. Perfect. But let's get into it, Chad. The first thing, like I'm telling you, it was a very dry day, but these war headlines kind of came back. Now, I did make a play on it, but what I mean by they came back is quite simply this dam has a couple of implications. One, it leads to more tragedy. It is displacing people in homes and causing damage. It is obviously not good. This is a war going on, and it has been. This is just another step. Now, think about it. We haven't responded to war headlines in a while. So why this is important? Because this is affecting the agriculture, and then also this could threaten any of the agriculture deals that they have. Now, we'll talk a little bit more when we get to the wheat play, but the thing about this, the war headlines came back over the next couple of weeks. Do I think it's the most important? No. We will be watching out for Powell. That is going to be the biggest driver, but depending on what we hear from this, that will be the bigger key. Now, tomorrow, we will be getting a little bit more data. Today was very dry, so we'll see what the data tomorrow does, but I am still expecting that we would probably trade how we are going to trade today. It's very simple. We either keep dancing at 4,300, maybe go a little lower, or we keep getting right up to the level and playing the dance up until Friday, or quite simply, somebody brought this up on chat. I think it was Regal today. We might just need a gap up. Maybe we need good China news. You need something overnight before next week in Powell. The only way we get above is if we gap up. Then maybe it sells off, but this is the point and marker that we have been looking for. So that's been the thing there. We've talked about it a lot. That's your first key. But now, like I brought up there earlier, Australia and Canada, we had news today from Australia. They decided to go ahead with a rate hike, and that was after they paused. Tomorrow, we get to hear from Canada, and we are going to see what happens. So the funny part about it, the bond market's not reacting to this. It's a dry week. People probably will not react to Canada tomorrow, but whatever happens with both of these, keep them in mind for next week. Whatever happens this week, think about it for next week, and then the play is going to be on the bonds. What I'm trying to say here is if we see Australia and Canada pause and raise rates, it's going to give us an idea of what the Fed could do. It gives us an idea of a central bank. It is a modern example, a recent example of a central bank going about a skip policy. And now when we get the CPI next week, if we're not seeing any real big reactions this week, then we get those two pauses or the resumptions, and then that data comes in hot. I think the bond market will move big, and maybe the market waits till Powell and then bonds react immediately. So that's what we're going to be looking for. But that is key number 2. And then the final thing, we've been talking about it a lot. It's been kind of quiet. I still think we're in that what's next phase, but there was a small reaction to the refunding news today, but we do get more updates on Thursday, so see what happens. There was a lot of different things, but it was right here they announced slightly more increases to the bonds that they're offering. You saw the yields go up a little bit, but then we bounced off of it, and then the yield started to come down. Remember, IEF going up, that is bond yields going down. IEF, TLT going down, that is bond yields going higher. So this one was a big one, but that is something on the week that we still got to keep our eyes out for. But besides that, it was very straightforward today. A lot of action, a lot of separate news. Even companies like Coinbase, they got a lawsuit. You even saw TSM, they changed guidance, and a couple of other things. You had individual movers, a couple of squeezes, but there was no data. The market's trying to get above the level, and now day by day, we are just getting really close to the main event, the main data and Powell. So I hope you're ready, but let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I got a couple of plays, but the first one, man, let's talk about this wheat play. So I made a play on /ZW. It's full circle. Remember, my first future trade, it was on /ZW and even corn, because when we first started trading wheat last year, the only way you could trade it was by using the wheat ETF. Now, we have an interview last year with the CEO of that ETF. You should go listen to it. It's a great one. But ever since that big move last year, we really haven't gone back into it. We had to play towards the end of the year with like UNG and oil, then everything came crashing down. Haven't gotten back into it, and this was the first time I decided to play it, and it was based on this news of that dam being destroyed. So watch out for ZW and wheat, and this is my logic behind it. Do I think this will be as big as last year's wheat play? No, but I am definitely expecting some short-term volatility. The news that we got today, it has a lot of big potential, and the consequences are what will determine the price moves. That's what I was referring to earlier. We're hearing about it now. It could affect agriculture. It is literally a couple of weeks ahead of harvest season, and now you're getting a flood in the grain areas, and it's massive. This is not small. Again, if that dam breaks open, it floods a lot of farmland. It threatens the nuclear facility. I'm not worried about the nuclear facility. I am simply just worried about the harvest and where we go from there, and I think depending on what we hear, that's where we will get the volatility. But why do I not think this is the big one? Because we're like a year and a half off of it. But the one thing I want you to keep in mind is gas prices aren't high right now and commodities aren't high right now. So don't forget, last time you saw wheat going crazy, there was way bigger supply chain issues. The price of transportation was through the roof. Every other alternative was expensive, and it was already getting elevated, not to mention inflation going crazy. And then you had this war and threaten to one of the largest providers or producers of wheat. So that's why I'm thinking it's not going to be the same, but I definitely think we could get some short-term volatility if this starts to threaten the harvest. And then on top of it, if this just escalates even bigger in general and leads to more escalation, since this is directly related to wheat and the Black Sea deal, if they go backwards on that, that could prove to be negative. And now here's the cherry on top for the play. I'm expecting volatility, but guess what? On Friday, there is a WASDE report, and those are big. We were talking about this last year. Remember, we would look at the crop harvest, the planting, and results in America, and that will determine stuff. So throw that in with a global Ukrainian event that could finally cause some tensions related to agriculture. WASDE on Friday. I think we're going to have a little bit of volatility. So not in love with the play, but looking for a couple of flips. Definitely think that'll be interesting. That is play number one. Then play number two. This is because the chat was asking. Somebody asked, how can we do the MPW play with other plays? And I had an example because it has the same exact date, but Altria, this is play number 2. I decided to go with it, and you can do the exact same thing we did on MPW with MO, and it is the exact same dates. The only difference is there's no news behind it. So if you're not familiar with the MPW play, it was one part the dividend arbitrage, but don't forget, we were playing what happened here with the news. The stock dropped on this Wall Street Journal report of their tenants not being able to get refinancing. People thought it would be bad, and then there was news that the tenants actually completed the refunding, and what could have been negative after going up after the earnings and kind of providing the update on the guidance and dividends, well, that was starting to get bought up, but not too much. So I said, hey, we buy it around here. Our average is 777, just simply based off of the news. I think it could get back up to 840. Now it started to do that, and what we've been talking about over the last couple of days is that as it goes higher and higher, since ex-dividend is on June 14th and our purchase price is so low, if it gets high enough, we could just buy puts using the same amount of the dividend so that we could hold all of the volatility around the ex-dividend and really maximize some of the move. So that was the idea on MPW. If you've been watching these watch lists, you've been able to see it from start to finish. Here is the play. 2,000 shares, 777. I'm up $2,400 on those shares. You see net total says I'm up $2,000. That's because we bought the puts. They were just around the same price as the dividend, so it says I'm down $400. But if June 14th comes around and the stock is still here at $9, we will be up on these shares $2,400, and then I will get the same amount as the dividend, so then we just walk away with the share profits. That was the whole idea with all of this. So I did buy more puts today because it got even cheaper. I just threw an extra $100 since we made $1,000 more on the shares today. But here's now the play with Altria. It's the same exact thing. There's just no news. That's it. I did the clap. I said there is no news. So this is a real gamble because we need the stock to go up. If you are not up on the cost basis, MPW, we bought it at a cheap price, and I was saying, hey, I think there's a catalyst that could just easily drive it way higher than where it's at, and that happened, and then we had cushion to the point where we could balance out the puts with the dividend, right? In this case, we needed to get up on the stock first so that we could do this ghetto spread or whatever you want to call it. So I bought 500 shares of Altria, 44.72. I'm down $30 on it, but the idea is their dividend, same as MPW. It's on the 14th for ex-dividend, and then the contracts are here on the 16th. So the idea is if we could just get like $1 or $2 up on it and the puts come down to the amount of the dividend, we will be able to protect the play. So my cost basis is $44.70. The $44.50, that's 93 cents. The dividend for Altria is 89 cents, I believe. So we just need this thing to come below 89 cents, but my price is at $44.70. This is 44.5. That doesn't protect me. So realistically, I need the $45 put at 89 cents. Or if this drops and I could average below and get me below 44.50 and then get the dividend for cheaper than get the put cheaper than the dividend, then I'll be good to go. So we'll see what happens. If this is too complex, this is obviously none of this a recommendation. I'm showing you this. You could see how it plays out. But this one's a little more riskier. I thought we would do it. Somebody asked about it and I was showing it and I said, hey, let me go ahead and try it, and then we will see what happens. But that is play number 2. And then finally, the last one, 3M, baby, triple M. I think it's ready to pop or die with a lawsuit headline right around the corner, either end of this week or beginning of next week. That's what's been moving it, and we've been hearing a lot of it. So I think we're about to get it, and I think it either dies below 95 and hits that $90, maybe lower if there's bad news from it, and then if it's good, maybe we get another one of those 5-8% pop days like you saw the other day. But besides that, that's all I'm going to be watching. I made the plays on wheat. I added another one of the MPWs to protect it, and then we're going to see what happens over the next couple of days. I still have like NVIDIA shares from last week, got the Baidu as well, and I watched China like we were saying, but really just seeing where we end up, whether we break out above that level, what the real narrative is, where the bonds are, and the data. And then it's just this next week, we're going to get a lot in a new SEP, so I hope you're ready. But That is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember you are young. You want to just look at the building. I'm telling you, you have to be there today. But even right before you're going to doubt it. I'm telling you how it shifts and understand and comprehend time. You are building something. So do not call the game too early, but stay in the game and do not let the abundance of this time you possess lead you to be complacent. But Chad, that is it. I love you all. Then we'll talk about it. We can get more for you. We'll talk about it later. But drink the water. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. And just stay in the game. What does Hugh say? He says, stay curious, my friend. Amen. And stay weird. And that's it, Chad. But I'm too weird. Did I make guess? Okay. It's fine. It's a good day. Are you a good day? You're blessed, man. You're blessed. Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah. Not unusual. This is a weird one. I'm still going. Usually I said be weird. Be weird. It's the Egyptian. Okay, this is bad. That one's a bad one. Don't hold this against me. Okay. Or